Good afternoon, patriots and patriottes. We've got a little bit to cover today. Wow, where to start? Let's see. Every day is a new day, and another 10 reasons why Biden probably should remain in the basement. There's that. There's the undeniability of bias in the media through an attempt to cover for Mr. Biden and the left side of the political game. They just proceed to slit their own throats. We have blatant lies coming out of the chairman from the House Intelligence Committee, which to me is kind of an oxymoron. Big tech companies backtracking now, saying that blocking this hard drive revelation was wrong. Well, of course, because they don't want to lose their 230 status of not being able to be sued. I mean, isn't it funny just the way everything's unraveling here all of a sudden? So let's go ahead and dive into it. In case anybody's missed it, because you watch NBC, ABC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, any of those. So a week and a half or a couple weeks ago, I don't even remember. It's been crazy. A computer repairman decided he'd go ahead and unearth the contents of a computer hard drive alleged to previously be the property of Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, containing sexually explicit images of him with prostitutes, allegedly, containing 11,000 or so emails, personal emails of his, implicating Joe Biden in knowing exactly what was going on with the Ukraine issue. Meanwhile, our own FBI sat on this hard drive, come to find out, all through the impeachment that would have provided even more information to exonerate President Trump and add weight and validity to him holding the funds from Ukraine, which he was being impeached over at the time. They just decided, well, we're just going to sit on that for a while. So my prediction on that is FBI Director Wray's days as FBI Director are probably numbered. I don't see it happening before the election, but shortly thereafter, I would be willing to bet that he ends up seeking other employment. So it just baffles me, because just before President Trump got elected, the media went crazy about entertaining the idea about Russian collusion. It was on every stinking channel in the mainstream media, every paper. Media outlets were coming out of the woodwork to broadcast all this stuff. And I'm not going to get into the skinny of how it all started. Most people already know, anybody that cares to pay attention or do a little bit of their own research. So then we have this hard drive come out with all these actual implications concerning Joe Biden and Ukraine and Russia money and Chinese money. And well, the mainstream media is just crickets. You got Fox News over there, the only station that was putting out information against the whole Russian narrative from the get-go, is about the only one reporting the facts now regarding the laptop hard drive. So, and I will admit, yeah, there's some bias there. Fox has been a little right leaning, and you do have to take some of the stuff that they put out with a grain of salt. But what baffles me more than anything is just the incessant commitment by these other media outlets to just cover this up and remain silent and just hope it goes by the wayside, I guess. So, I think at this point it really doesn't matter what side of the aisle that you're on.
Button to answer. Phone call completed.
I don't think it really matters what side of the aisle that you're on at this point. The bias in the media is completely undeniable. You cannot look at this and say, oh, well, they're justified by not covering because of this. No, because Adam Schiff, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, here's that oxymoron again, made a public statement saying that, oh, this hard drive, it's just a Russian disinformation campaign. It's just a smear campaign. And he has intelligence on that. The problem with this is that the director of national intelligence showed up on Fox News, which probably the only media outlet that would let him be out there. Sorry, I can't get in trouble for product placement. He comes out and he says that's incredibly false. He said there is no intelligence whatsoever that the contents of that laptop have anything to do with a disinformation campaign, especially not a Russian disinformation campaign. There is no investigation going into that whatsoever. Now, I'm pretty sure that some of these media outlets are going to start claiming, oh, well, he was put in place by Trump, so he's not credible. Well, he was perfectly credible whenever they were going back and they were reporting that on the statements that he put out about Russia and China and the intelligence that they were planning on trying to in some way interfere with the 2020 election. Boy, they love that. But out there, yes, the Donald Trump appointee, Director of National Intelligence, Dan Ratcliffe. I think it's Dan Ratcliffe. It's Ratcliffe for sure. I'm not sure about Dan. All these names run together. I get confused. Anyway, they all put that out there non-stop. Of course, he was credible then because it fit their narrative, right? So, I haven't seen them try to discredit the DNI just quite yet, but I would imagine that they're going to try something. Right now, I don't think there's anything they can do besides what they're doing, not report. Joe Biden put a lid on his campaign to prepare for a debate, which I don't understand how it takes that much time to prepare for a debate when you're not given the questions beforehand, right? I mean, we all know what they're going to cover. They're going to come out, they're going to talk about COVID, they're going to talk about the economy, they're going to talk about future plans for the economy, they're going to talk about taxes, they're going to talk about, did I already say COVID? Probably going to talk about COVID again. I would be willing to bet that most of the questions from the moderator in the context of the question and the verbiage there are going to probably need fact check because they're going to outright slander the president. President Trump's going to get accused once again of not denouncing white supremacy, which he has repeatedly. He's up to 18, 24, I don't know how many times. But there's been plenty. It's just a false narrative that the media is putting out there. Oh, goodness. Anyway, we all know what they're going to talk about. I guarantee you one thing the moderator's not going to bring up is this Hunter Biden hard drive. Guarantee you that Joe Biden is not going to have to answer for that unless Donald Trump brings it up. So anyway, Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just a cop-out. I mean, been in politics for 47 years. If you have to prepare, take 2 weeks off to prepare, or a week off to prepare for a debate, give me a break. You know, meanwhile, our president is doing 2 to 3 campaign stops a day. Yeah, I just don't see it. And then there's our big tech media companies. Holy smokes! How blatantly stupid and obvious do you have to be? When the New York Post broke this article on the laptop hard drive, you had Facebook openly admitting to redoing their algorithms to try to limit the searchability and dissemination of the story. Open about it. Yeah, this is what we're doing. We're trying to curtail this as quick as possible. Twitter took it as far as blocking anybody who shared any of it. Man, you know, if I didn't know any better, I'd think that we were in China. You know, with all the regulations the CCP has in place to limit the broadcasting capabilities and sharing of information that they don't want out. I mean, it's to the point now where it's actually comparable. Like, yeah, China's Communist Party is starting to line up with what Twitter and Facebook are doing. It's all those Silicon Valley giants. I just don't know what to do anymore. Man, I'm scared. I want to be real with you for a minute. I am absolutely terrified of what could possibly happen if the Democrats retake control of our country. You know, first off, you're not electing Joe Biden. I covered this in my last video. That 25th Amendment charade that Nancy Pelosi pulled that requires a vice president's signature along with the panel appointed by Congress to evaluate the ability of the president to carry out his or her duties. Mike Pence is not signing off on that. That's put in place right underneath Joe Biden's nose, and Joe Biden probably already knows that if he were to get elected, as soon as he gets elected, they're going to invoke the 25th Amendment on him, put together one of those panels, because Kamala Harris would have no problem signing off on getting him out of office, because then she'd be the first woman president, the second president of color. We know she's not black, but color. Anyway, not important. I'm really, really scared, y'all. Talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors, and do your best. Please do your best to have a civil conversation and bring facts to the table. Bring the economic facts to the table. Bring the bias of the media facts to the table. Use what you can to please try to talk to some of these people. I don't know what's going to happen, but so help me, I am scared for what could happen. We're going to have families that have a reduction in their monthly income. At the worker level, the middle class, lower middle class are going to be the hardest hit if those tax cuts get repealed. You know, a lot of those tax cuts did go to big corporations But you have to understand why they went to big corporations, because we had some of the highest corporate taxes in the world, and companies left our country and went overseas because the taxes were less. By cutting the corporate taxes, you put it back in competition and you make it a little bit lower. These billion and trillion dollar companies, that brings them back because that it saves them billions and trillions of dollars on taxes. And so financially, they almost have to come back and start doing things in the U.S. That's what creates jobs. That's why President Trump has been so successful with those jobs. In spite of what the left stream media has been spewing out, that's why those jobs are coming back. The tax cuts trickle on down to the working class Americans. Yes, there's rich people that benefit from it. Of course. Yes, Donald Trump is a billionaire. Are there going to be things that he does that benefit billionaires? Absolutely. But you know what you have to look at is they also benefit every one of us. Look at it this way. If Donald Trump's businesses are doing good and he's making decisions for his businesses to do better, he can't just isolate his businesses, people. It means it's going to make it better for all businesses in the U.S. Think about this stuff logically. Like I said, sit down, try to have a civil conversation. All right, if you look at the left-wing media's ratings and everything, I mean, they're low, and thank goodness for that. And there's going to be people out there that no matter what you say or what you do are going to vote Democrat. There's people out there that no matter what you say or what you do are going to vote for Trump. You could have real-time video of Donald Trump in the Oval Office snorting cocaine off of a hooker's butt crack, and you're still going to have those people out there that are like, well, that's my president. All right, I get it. We're going to have those. But there are people out there that are hopefully logical enough to see what's happening, what's coming out with this laptop and everything, and realizing that everything the media was pushing at him that they said Trump was doing, Trump's doing this, he's compromised by Russia, he's compromised by China, all this stuff. Well, now it's actually true, and there's actual evidence. And it doesn't take a special counsel 2.5 years to look for it. Sad to say, this guy in the computer shop has done more to put information out there for the betterment of our country than our own FBI did. As sad as that is, I'm glad it's out there. I'm extremely happy that the New York Post went ahead and broke the news and put out the article. I'm not happy that the media and the tech giants have been trying to cover it up. That to me is absolutely ridiculous. But I am glad that it's out there because it needed to be out there. The American people deserve to know the alleged criminality of a presidential candidate, not after he goes into office, or she, not after. Don't sit there and whine calling it election interference because it's coming out beforehand. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's election interference to investigate whether or not one of the candidates is a criminal before the election. No, that should be mandatory. They should be able to put the election on hold and push it back until the dadgum investigation's finished, if you ask me. Push it off. I'm not saying cancel it. I'm not saying kick them out before there's conclusions made. I'm saying let's have a real investigation. It should be done before. The American people deserve to know exactly who they vote for. How many people do you think would have voted for Donald Trump that voted for Hillary if the whole Russian thing wasn't just getting started? What if we would have pushed that election off? Let Robert Mueller's report come out. Push that election off. Let it all come out. Now we know the real deal. Nobody colluded with Russia. Oh, geez, man. I'm glad we didn't vote against somebody because of what the media was saying. That would have been horrible. But no, we just pushed right on through and accused the other side of election interference. That's the biggest bunch of horse crap I've ever seen. Well, anyway, I'm home. Got things to do. Have a conversation with somebody. Do it civilly. Don't buy into all the hysterics and everything. Sit down, have a real conversation with somebody. Bring facts to the table. But when it comes down to it, do not take anything for granted. And I don't care what side of the fence you're on. If you truly believe that the president or the candidate that you like is truly what's best for our country, above everything else, and I don't care if it's Democrat, Republican, or third party, vote. This is your constitutionally given right and responsibility to our country. It doesn't matter if you think you're going to be on the losing end, the winning end. Vote your heart, vote your values. Just don't vote for media bias. Get your actual facts together. Don't just assume things. Research. Vote your heart, vote your values, but please, please, please go vote. It's never been more important. There has never been a more critical election in the history of our country than the one coming up on November 3rd, 2020. Thank you all. God bless you. Have a great day. My kid's already knocking on the door. I can't get a moment of peace, but that's the way it is. Love you all. Have a good day.